on today's show.
With the NCAA semis this weekend, we debate who will be the NBA's Final Four.
In Worst of the Week, the fans of both Los Angeles teams need some schooling.
And TGIF will count down the top 10 plays from the past 7 days.
It's Friday, April 3rd. The starter starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to the starters. Whether you're joining us live online or catching us on NBA TV, we're very, very happy to have you. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me, as always, it's Easter Bunny Mellis.
Hi, I'm Peter. I'm here to make your Good Friday great.
To my right, starters blog editor Trey Kirby.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. Finally, the international man of mystery, taking it to the Max Lee Ellis.
Friends and bunnies.
Leila, yes, if you're new to the show and wondering why Tass is dressed as Peter the Bunny here today, it is because Tass, for the 4th consecutive month, lost the Pick'em Payoff contest, and as a result, he's we threw a little Easter twist on today's payoff.
I tried to act sad, but I can't act sad in this
You
costume.
can't.
Too happy. Just so happy.
You're very happy and very, very creepy. Look at that, staring
Very
right
sweaty.
into your soul there at home. All right, so lots to get to on the show tonight. We've got Bunny's Worst of the Week, as well as our top 10 plays from the past 7 days. But seeing as we're heading into the NCAA Final Four, the semis this weekend, I know a lot of basketball fans out there excited for that. We're not talking college, but it's a good time to talk about the NBA and the possibility of the NBA's Final Four. ESPN's Mark Stein had a great tweet the other day wondering, and we show it to you here, if you had to pick right now, who would really pick against the Cavs and Hawks and the Warriors and Spurs as a possible NBA Final Four? So let's debate it, and we'll start in the West. Can you convince yourself or talk yourself into not picking either the Dubs and the Spurs in the Final Two in the West?
It's odd that we would make a team from the West a lock in the conference finals, considering all season long we've been talking about how wide open it is. But the Golden State Warriors are having a historic season. I mean, they're crushing teams by 10-plus points. We'll get to that in a sec. But their best player doesn't have to play fourth quarters. They're on their way to like a 67-win season. They have actual home court advantage, which you can't say for a lot of the Western Conference teams, as we saw in the last year in the first round. Teams were about 500 on the road in the first round. Everything is going their way. Things may change in the first round, but they've got such a great roster. I don't care about the lack of playoff coaching experience. I'm trying to point things out on my fingers. It doesn't really work. I wish I had gloves and not mittens.
Okay, I mean, the Warriors, they really, it's sort of tough to try and come up with a reason why you can't pick them.
Just the lack of playoff experience.
I know. I mean, are there any holes to you, Lee, in the Warriors' game? Is there anything? We know they're a great offensive team, a great defense team. Is there anything you can sort of look at?
Not in their game, no, because they've been pretty much the best offensive and defensive team all season long. So you have to give them the respect that they are due there. But the recent history of the Golden State Warriors is all about playoff upsets. And if you go back to the '89 season, they upset the Jazz, '91 the Spurs, 2007, of course, the Dallas Mavericks, that was huge. And even just a couple of years ago when they upset the Denver Nuggets in the first round. So they know all about the change, what happens in the playoffs. And they have to be absolutely ready for that this season.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr has been super impressive, but he's never coached in the playoffs, even though he's come from great coaches experience in Phil Jackson and Pop, of course. He's never had the controls himself. So this is going to be the only real test. And if you are playing against the Golden State Warriors, you have to hope that they get a little bit nervous and things don't just fall for them right in the first game or two.
This is, we showed you the numbers there. It's a historic regular season team.
Yeah.
Let's make that very clear. But from the other ones we saw there on the list, you're that good in terms of point differential and, of course, just racking up the wins. A lot of those teams went on to win the title. So putting them in the Final Four.
They basically all did, other than one team that lost to the team that won the title.
That's exactly right. So putting them in the Final Four doesn't feel like too much of a stretch, especially when you do throw in the home court advantage. They've only lost, 2 games this entire season at home. Few games left to go in the regular season, but I mean, what an advantage.
It's such a huge advantage, and they're crushing teams at home, too. And the thing is that their team is just basically built to play in front of a crowd that loves highlight plays. That's why they had so many turnovers earlier in the season, because they were just trying to get their fans psyched up. But, like, they hit a couple of threes. Everybody starts going crazy. It's actually loud there, and then it just seems like they're going to keep doing it and doing it. They feed off the crowd feeds off them. It's fun to watch, and it must be impossible to play there.
A plus 15-point differential at the Roracle there. 35-2. I mean,
that's an advantage.
I think one of those games was a buzzer beater, Jared Jack. that they lost, and I think another one was the Nuggets, and I think the Kerr had rested a lot of their guys in that game.
Well, and the San Antonio Spurs actually beat them early on, and you remember Steve Kerr said that after the game. He said, thankfully, they beat us because it really taught them a lesson, and they've really understood now how important it is to secure that home court throughout the playoffs, and that's what they've done now.
Here's one reason why we may not have in the Final Four and the Final Two in the West, Warriors and the Spurs. They just may not see each other in the conference finals. I mean, you look at the Western Conference, and the Spurs are playing great basketball, but they're currently 6th seed right now. The difference between the 2nd seed, the Rockets, who moved there after last night's performance against the Mavs, and then the Spurs at 6th, 2.5 game difference.
Yeah.
So the worry to some fans is the Spurs will actually get above some of these teams. They'll get out of the 6th seed. And if they're in a 4-5 situation, and the Blazers are probably going to have that 4 seed because they're going to win their division. They may not have home court advantage, but they're going to have that seed.
Yeah.
You just would, in theory, we could get Spurs Warriors in the 2nd round.
Yeah, I think the one team that the Warriors do sort of fear is the San Antonio Spurs. They just seem to play them very well. As you mentioned, Lee, they did beat them the one time. But I think what is to the Warriors' advantage is that they did lose to the Spurs in the playoffs a couple of years ago. So I think they have sort of that little mental factor in the back of their head, like, okay, we had a chance. And if you remember that series, they were up 16 in Game 4. They had an opportunity to beat them. The Spurs came back. It seemed like one team had playoff experience and the other team didn't. And that's what happened. But the Golden State Warriors have sort of been there, done that, even though they don't have a lot of playoff experience roster-wide, or obviously Steve Kerr. I just feel they will sort of have that comfort level and that confidence going into the postseason.
Why not the Los Angeles Clippers? Why not the Rockets? Why not the Grizzlies? Does it really feel like the Dubs and Spurs are just much better than those teams that are sort of in a way on sort of a 2nd tier?
Well, I think the Warriors for sure are on the 1st tier by themselves. And then you look at the Spurs, they're a team that's never going to get rattled playing on the road. They're a team that's obviously won the title, should have probably had 2 titles. It's just impossible to pick against them. I just think that there are a lot more questions to be had with the Grizzlies, with the Rockets, with the Clippers. Like the Clippers have a short bench, the Rockets have one player who scores for them basically. It's just there are things you can pick out, whereas with the Warriors, they're one of the top teams in the league on both ends. With the Spurs, they're winning titles.
Yeah, the Clippers, I mean, we've talked about them on the show recently. They have no bench, especially with Jamal Crawford out for a little while. They seem to get a little too emotional at times when it comes to pushing guys and honking the Hibberts and so on. There's a lot of extracurricular things that is going on the court. But I am intrigued still. I've said this before. The possibility of Chris Paul taking over, especially a series and maybe even a whole playoff run. I still have hope, and I know he hasn't gone very far, and a lot of people are pointing at that saying he's not that great. He hasn't gone super deep in the playoffs, never made it to the finals. I still think he can do it. I think he can put a team on his back and take him that far.
I hope so, because it would be great to see. Because at the moment, he's never gone past the 2nd round, and that is a little bit of a knock on his career at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the Clippers still would need J.J. Redick, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan to really perform to get to that level.
To play at very high levels. All right, let's jump very quickly to the East. I think it's a little more intriguing in the West because making a case for anyone else in the East outside of course, the Hawks and Cavs, the 1 and 2 seeds making the conference finals. Can anyone do it? Can anyone convince me it's the Raps, Wizards, or maybe the Bulls?
Well, the other thing with the Hawks, too, is that they have beaten a lot of good teams. They're 22-10 against winning teams, and they had a ton of questions for them, but they went on that crazy winning streak where they were beating teams from the Western Conference time after time, night after night. They've answered a lot of questions, but I think you should have the same questions with both the Cavaliers and the Hawks. There's a lot of inexperience on both sides. The 2 and 3 best players on the Cavs have never seen the playoffs. Their coaches never coached in NBA playoffs. Same thing with the Hawks. They've got a lot of guys who have been around for a while that have never gone far. So, I mean, you just have to, those teams have to prove it.
Are you worried, Mr. Bunny, here of this whole resting guys that the Hawks are doing here over the last, month? Here, the odd game, they'll rest 3 or 4 starters. Are you worried at all doing that will have any effect on them sort of flipping the switch come playoff time?
I know how it feels to get tired, to get sweaty. I will come. Yes, I am extremely sweaty. You want me to take this off? I won't. I don't want to scare the kids at home. I think you can overcome that. I think the Hawks.
Not a concern.
They're comfortable in their own skin. I feel like they'll settle back in. They have been resting guys over the last little while. But as Trey mentioned, I mean, there's no other team on their level whatsoever. And when we say conference finals, I don't think that's much of a challenge whatsoever. to win 2 playoff series in the Eastern Conference.
Right.
It doesn't feel like it. I mean, the Cleveland Cavaliers are right up there with the Hawks. I think once we get to the conference finals and those 2 teams are there, I still think the Bulls are a bit of a dark horse. I think it's going to be a coin flip between those 2 teams.
Let's hear what people think. Do you agree with Mark Stein? Do you agree with us here? Is it the Warriors and Spurs and the Hawks and Cavs in the NBA Final Four? I know you'll be enjoying the NCAA, but let us know on Twitter, #TitanStarters. Got to take a break. When we come back, the Bunnies' worst of the week, and we'll debate a few disappointing players from this season. Yes, Lance, you're in the running. Welcome back to the Starters. If you're just joining us and wondering why Tass is dressed as the Easter Bunny, it's because he lost for the 4th consecutive month the Pick'em payoff. So he's getting a jump on Easter. A very creepy but also very happy bunny. This bunny cannot stop smiling.
Yeah, it's like I almost can't be sad here. I'll try and be sad here for a sec. I haven't had a carrot in days, and the last carrot I had dirt all over it.
There you go. Drop the head. Oh, okay. Now I feel worked.
Once the mouth goes away, that
Yeah,
helps.
I feel sad for the bunny.
Okay. All right, moving on. Every 7 days, someone in the NBA family makes a mistake, and we hop all over it. It's time for the worst of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, the worst of the week.
This week's worst of the week are fans of both teams in Los Angeles, and let's start with the bad one, the Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers fans actually had something to cheer about this week, but they didn't want that. No, they did not. Monday, Jordan Clarkson hit a game winner in OT against the Sixers, but Laker fans all groaned, "No," as the ball went through the hoop. They were cheering against their team, against them, because the worse their team is, the more likely they keep their pick. Can the kids just have a moment? This horrific year will likely result in the 2nd worst record of Lakers franchise history. That's nearly 70 seasons. This team actually has some real problems. Tuesday, the Clippers hosted a team they do not like at all, the Warriors. Actually, I misspoke. It's not that they don't like each other, they hate each other. Their 3 games this season have involved suspensions, some fantastic trash talk, even between the coaches, and 0 pregame handshakes. So what happened the 4th time they faced off? Fireworks, right? Well, there were loud noises. There were loud cheers every time Steph or Clay made a basket. There were even MVP chants for Steph when he was at the line, causing several Clippers players to look up into the stands and just shake their heads. This was Blake Griffin after the game. Home court advantage is just not there for us. If that's how it feels in the playoffs, it's not looking good. It's kind of like when we play the Lakers. I don't know, maybe worse. Doc Rivers added, "I love our crowd. I didn't like their crowd." Well said, Doc. And that is why the fans of both professional teams in Los Angeles are your worst of the week. Thanks to Arash Markazi for some of those quotes via ESPN.
There it is. L.A. Some buddy just
LA
came to
fans,
us the other
LA
week.
fans just got me twisted, you know?
Not
Got my head backwards.
a bad one. Not a bad one. I like where you're going, especially that Clippers angle. Yeah, a lot of Warriors fans there in attendance and went nuts when, of course, Steph Curry dropped Chris Paul. I don't know how you wouldn't, though. All right, we have a question, a mailbag. We got to the mailbox, questions yesterday, but we got one more that we want to get out to everyone here. It reads, outside of guys that have been injured this year, which player do you think has been the biggest disappointment this season? That question from Jeremy. It's a good question. We talked about it in the office. A couple guys that came to mind. Lance Stevenson with the Hornets. Chandler Parsons with the Mavs. 2 guys signing with new teams here, I think, is coming into play here in terms of disappointing. And Jonas Valanciunas with the Raps. But Lance Stevenson, the obvious pick.
It's pretty unbelievable. I thought this was the signing of free agency. And Lance Stevenson, given it took him some years to get acclimated in Charlotte, or in Indiana, I should say, and it's taking a heck of a long time for that to happen in Charlotte. But no one thought it would take this long. No one thought that Lance Stevenson would have 2 DNPs this late in the season.
In a playoff chase.
Yeah.
It is pretty bonkers. The good thing is, let's look on the bright side. Next year, he's already playing for a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty viable trade candidate as well because he is an expiring contract.
Yeah, Steve Clifford, the Hornets head coach, has said, it's simply that I can't find a group of players that play well when he's out there. So he, to the point where he is now, like you said, DNP CDs.
Yeah.
You just sit down. We're in a playoff race here. We're better when you're not on the floor.
He's dribbling far too much.
He's dribbling far too much. He can't shoot to save his life. He is 16 for 100 from three-point land.
It's a lot of threes to take if you're shooting 16%.
He's playing the good soldier, though. Even
He
with
is,
the
he is.
Yeah,
BCDs,
for sure.
he's saying the right things, and he basically bet on himself last year when he signed a 2-year contract plus an option. So he knows.
Team option, yeah.
Yes, a team option. So he knows, I mean, I'm not getting another contract until next year. And basically, I think, Charlotte says, okay, well, this is sort of an expiring deal. He's going to want to play well next year.
Right.
So next year is going to be pretty interesting there.
No, absolutely. Kelly Dwyer with Ball Don't Lie said, and I think it's a good point, he's played like 1,500 minutes for this team. If he plays even above or around average, let alone above average, you wonder if how much better the Hornets are record-wise. So he's had quite an impact sort of on their season. Why Chandler Parsons, though, with the Mavs sort of disappointing?
He was just expensive. It took a lot to get him away from the Rockets, and I don't think he's really taken any sort of a leap at all. He's basically the exact same player he was for the Rockets last year, which definitely helps out the Mavericks, no doubt about it. But if you're paying him $15 million because Dirk is kind enough to take a tiny, tiny contract, you kind of would hope that you would have a little bit better team. They're on pace for the same amount of wins as they had last year, 45. They're still definitely in the second tier of Western Conference teams. And like they said on Reddit, Corey Brewer, Josh Smith, and Trevor Ariza make as much money as Chandler Parsons does this year, and I think you would probably rather have the whole of those three together than having Chandler Parsons.
Some injuries with Parsons coming into play.
Yeah, some injuries for sure, but I mean, he's still just basically doing what he did last year, and if you're really wanting to extend Dirk's career and give him another chance at winning a title, you need to have another guy there who's going to make him better, and I just don't think Chandler Parsons has necessarily made the Mavericks a lot better, despite being basically the same guy.
Last month, he has been very good, though.
Yeah,
He's had his best month for sure. Definitely.
Lee, Jonas Valanciunas, this one hurts as a Raptors fan, but is it because he really hasn't taken that next step that we sort of had hoped for?
That's exactly what it is. His numbers are about where they were last season, but this was the season you really wanted to see him take that extra step, use his muscle, use his size to his advantage, and maybe put the Raptors into that conversation. We've already talked about the Final Four in the Eastern Conference, and no one's really considering the Raptors a chance to upset either of those teams. It's not all his fault. I won't say that. But
I think the coaching comes into play here with Valanciunas.
Yeah, the coaching does. He hasn't played in 24 quarters this season, and when he does play, he only plays 5 minutes.
That's what I'm saying.
He's playing a couple less minutes.
Part of it's on the coaching, but part of it's on him as well. So.
Let's hear what people think. I'm sure there's some others disappointing players from this season now that we're, 2 weeks from the playoffs starting. Can't wait. Got to take a break. When we come back, we'll count down the starters' top 10 plays from the past 7 days. Come on back. Back with the starters. There he is, the Easter Bunny as part of Tass's Pick 'em Payoff. Oh yeah,
Can I offer you guys some treats? I have an array of gifts.
there's oranges and Lay's potato chips.
I'm a healthy
it's the
bunny.
worst Easter Bunny ever.
Orange
Oh
for
yeah,
you.
I'll take an orange. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, some
for
chips.
you.
Oh,
Doritos, yeah.
cool ranch.
Give me some
And
eggs.
some eggies.
Okay. Let's stop. All right, get over here. We gotta do the top 10, buddy. Up to it. Let's go. Come on. All right, what are you doing?
I'm ready. Let's go to the top 10 plays of the week, please.
At number 10, Russell Westbrook dunks on his own teammate.
Oh, he's got hops.
On his canter, throwing it down. Yeah, DJ Augustine throwing it up. He doesn't know who he's throwing it to, but Westbrook goes a little bit higher. I'm surprised. No.
At number 9, Andrew Wiggins gets denied. Oh no, you didn't, Rudy, go there. What a block.
Oh yeah, Rudy with the flex afterwards as well.
Is it the Stifle Tower or French rejection?
Stifle Towel for me.
Okay.
I like that one.
You're right.
That
You're
is-
on
That's a
Stifle
great
Tower.
nickname.
Yeah.
Great.
Sticking with the block party at number 8, Terrence Jones will block Carl Landry not once, not twice, but 3 times on this one possession.
Carl Landry or Charles Smith?
That's rough. Oh, there, he got him there, and then like Dorsey got his hand on it too. Yeah.
Pass the ball, Carl.
Come on, Carl.
At number 7, Clint Capella plays for the Houston Rockets. A huge dunk on Lou Williams. He has 6 baskets this year. 6. And that is one of them. The last time you probably saw him, he was wearing a Capella at the NBA draft.
Don't worry, he didn't hit the free throw.
No.
At number 6, Jeff Green with Lee. I'm calling it very Clyde Drexler-like dunk, gliding in there.
Comparisons to him and James Worthy with the finish.
I'll
as
take
well.
that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Nice dunk.
finish.
Statue of Liberty, some call
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
Here comes Andrew Wiggins, one of his 2 dunks. I love that jump stop in the lane.
That's on a shot blocker too.
Oh,
on
that
Josh.
is
Josh gets out of the way at the end. He puts his arm down.
He knew not to jump. That's what I think.
We got a better one coming.
Good idea. At number 4, CP3 to DeAndre. Wow.
Wow.
That's That's meth to Redman there. That's high.
How high?
So high you can kiss the sky. Thanks for getting my back there, Trey.
Great setup, just like Chris Paul there. Watch this block. Blake Griffin, the 180-degree block. Have you seen that before in your basketball career, Lee?
No, I haven't. That's an amazing play. He keeps possession as well. Starts his own fast break.
Wow.
That's super stuff.
That's neato like Ernie.
At number 2, Steph Curry dropping Chris Paul. Against
This
the
is only number 2?
This is number 2. He made him a meme, though.
Yeah.
He just made a man a meme.
He's been memed.
Oh, man, he's playing Twister. He's breakdancing. That's taking
Chris Paul.
Every view of it is good.
It's understandable why Chris Paul doesn't like Steph Curry and the Golden State.
Yeah, he taunts him a lot.
Yeah.
There is only one better play than that one, and that's Andrew Wiggins on Rudy Gobert. There's just no words for that. That is beautiful. One of the best shot blockers in the game. Going at Wiggins, he goes right at him. He takes one step to
Jumping
get
off
there,
2
too.
feet as well.
A lot of people on
He
Twitter.
loves the
A lot of
2-foot
people on Twitter saying that this should be an all-star event. Andrew Wiggins trying to dunk on Rudy Gobert.
Gobert.
Make it happen.
Talk
Best
about
of
it.
7, best of
Talked about
11,
it forever.
whatever you want to do. Yeah, that's great week for top 10 plays. Agree, disagree, let us know on Twitter. Let's get the unicorn out here. Oh, I wish it was a bunny for the starters fantasy minute. But Tess, the Nudie Goberts, into the final in the Starters Fantasy League Championship week. You're taking on Lance Fresh, who has a great name, by the way, Duncan Jeans.
Very good.
And you're up by, I've been
Not
told.
as good as Rudy Gobert. I'm crushing Mr. Duncan.
Yeah,
James. It's 7-1. Actually, I'm a little bit worried going into this weekend, and that's why I picked up Kelly Olynyk. I'm pretty comfortable with this pick.
You're worried up 7-1?
Yeah, it's close. He's got a lot of games this weekend as well. Steven Adams is a little banged up, so I picked up Kelly Olynyk.
Because he is going home to Toronto this weekend. And his last game in Toronto was a doozy, 23 points, 8 of 11, 2 threes, 5 boards, couple assists, couple steals, and 4 turnovers. But I don't care, I've punted turnovers.
That's the one you're losing, huh?
Best of luck to you, sir. When we come back, Lee's very solid play. Back with the starters. Tess, I have good news.
We don't have to do this.
Yeah, you can't lose another month in the pick and payoff contest because you're not playing. It is Trey versus Lee. The first night there last night. Trey a perfect 3-0, Lee 2-1. So not a bad night for either of you. Let's look at tonight's picks. You guys agree on a lot. The Celtics, the Nets, the Grizzlies, and the Pelicans on the road. The one game you disagree on, Trey likes the Hornets on the road. Lee will take the Pacers at home.
The Lance Stevenson Bowl.
Yes, that's right. Hopefully he sits on the bench again. Actually, I hope he plays for the Hornets. Pacers. Beautiful, very solid play comes from Tyson Chandler, of all people. He only had 1 assist last night, but it was a beauty. A bounce pass to Monte Ellis. He finished it off, and that's what I call a very solid play.
There are those thumbs from Lily. This morning, we recorded our hour-long drop podcast. It's up on the blog and iTunes. We talk about LeBron and Coach Blatt's relationship, the biggest crybabies in the NBA, and Lee's mate, old 8 Toes. He has a friend with 8 toes, and we talked about it. So check that out if you're weird like us. Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on NBA TV. Very excited for this. It's the hour-long edition of the Starties. We hand out all of our awards for not only the major NBA awards, but a whole bunch of other ones. Worst of the year will be raised to the banners. Kristen Ledlow will be hosting that. Tass.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Great stuff.
Just like this show was.
Where are you going?
Thank you all for joining us. And remember, I got to do some hopping.
All right.
Hop away.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, whoa, this head's going crazy. This head is crazy right now. Whoa.